What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking out for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis and break down what on earth the charts are telling us about NIO and the broader market. I'm also going to break down some very important information about tomorrow because it's going to be a very big day for the stock market. We have some very important economic data coming out, and it will affect how NIO and the market ends up moving. I'm also going to break down what the data is telling us about NIO, some big articles that came out, and why on earth NIO is still in a pretty good position. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is, any could be a free NIO share, a free Tesla share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer that has been extended just for this week. It's going to end in just 9 days. So check it out before they run out. Offer ends in just 9 days. So with that out of the way, let's get on with the video with what's going on in the markets. And I do have some very important things to discuss with everyone. So I was doing more technical analysis on SPY. I broke down this chart, right? I drew out this trend line connecting every single one of the bottoms over the last couple of weeks. And here's the interesting thing. I never touched it. I never touched it since I drew it out yesterday. And look at what the market has been doing today, right? This is the market today. All right. It's clearly been respecting this trend line, which existed since yesterday. It's existed for quite a while. And this is telling us that so far we're still in this channel. We're still respecting this bear flag like setup. And we're still actually showing some strength because the market is making these higher lows. So in order for this to continue, we're going to need some economic data on our side. And that's why tomorrow is going to be a very big day. Are we going to see us get another bounce off this trend line and start pushing up again? Or are we going to see the market collapse and start crashing down? We'll just have to wait and see on the data. And how this data affects us, it's going to affect NIO very heavily. I'm going to explain exactly why. So looking first at some data, what data is coming out? On Friday, tomorrow, before the market opens, we have non-farm payrolls coming out. That's going to be very important. And then the unemployment rate. That's also going to be very important. And you have to remember, what does the market want? The market wants higher unemployment. The market wants more pain in the job sector because it decreases the odds of the Fed being more hawkish. One thing that's good and one thing that's very interesting was Bullard was speaking today, and he actually caused the market to pump a bit. All right, which means the Fed is not being as hawkish temporarily. Could we see this continue as time goes on? I mean, I guess, but the real question is, are we going to get that bounce? If the economic data helps us, the market could bounce tomorrow and start pushing up. If not, we could collapse, guys. NIO could also come tumbling down because of that. And I'm going to show you guys more data on this in just a couple of minutes. I just want to talk about some pieces of news that came out. I just want to inform everyone. Okay, people are talking about how, oh, this new upstart Chinese electric car brand delivered more cars than NIO. Well, there's always going to be another company that achieves something else that could be perceived as bigger than another company. Remember, it depends on so many factors, depends on so many other things. We can't just look at this one factor and just trivialize NIO. You have to remember the importance of NIO's brand and why on earth NIO is still a strong company. It doesn't matter if Tesla delivered, 1 million cars in a year and NIO only delivered like 120,000. We don't worry about that. We're not worried about that because NIO is still showing very healthy growth. Their brand is incredible. Fundamentals are still improving. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm focused on. I don't really like to play games like this, and I'm not going to just listen to a lot of these articles, which are not always going to be in NIO's favor. They're not always against NIO. They're not always in favor of NIO, but they're not always unbiased. That's the big difference. Now, NIO did break some records. We had very good deliveries that came out very recently, and this is actually causing a big improvement in the share price, as I mentioned recently. Now, NIO also tweeted that as of December 31st, 99 hashtag NIO houses and 303 NIO spaces worldwide are located in 134 cities. There are 1,322 NIO power swap stations and 6,225 power chargers in place. Take a look at our most recent milestones. You can see right here, NIO is doing very well. They're improving fundamentally, they're growing every single day, and we're seeing big improvements to their infrastructure as well. So lots and lots of big improvements are being made. They actually have a video right over here. They're just doing incredible. I'm actually very impressed with their growth. Now, from the technical side, how is the share price doing? And that's what I really want to break down for everyone. Price pairs ratio, small bounce right here. That tends to be a good sign. If it continues pushing up, NIO could outperform the market, but it's going to depend on other factors, which I'm going to discuss a little bit later and give you guys the hypotheticals. So far, NIO is starting to outperform the market. If we could continue the trend tomorrow, if the market continues to push up, this could give NIO an excuse me, sorry guys. This could give NIO an extra boost, and that's what we're essentially hoping for. Now, looking back at many of the analyst ratings that NIO is getting, we're getting lots of hold ratings, lots of buy ratings. They're still giving NIO some positive sentiment. Fridays are green 53% of the time. Hopefully, this continues on the trend. So, what do I see for tomorrow for the markets? Well, we're still in this like bear flag like setup. If the data is bad, SPY could collapse. This would drag NIO down. If things go as planned, and from a technical standpoint, okay, it looks more bullish than bearish as we are not crashing back down to 374, 376. We're holding these higher levels. The bottom today was like in the high 378s, and we actually spent a lot of the day above 380. So there is some improvement in the market. Looking at the MACD or the MACD, you will notice that we had this bullish divergence right over here. Right here, you guys could see. This is often a sign we're going to get another continuation, a bullish continuation. Hopefully, it will depend on the data, but the technicals are still looking a little bit more on the bullish side, but we still have to see the data. For NIO, let's transition into NIO. NIO is actually up over 2% despite the red day that the markets tended to have. Very interesting to see. NIO is still looking pretty strong. I predicted yesterday that because of the deliveries, NIO would go for this gap fill. NIO would break above 10.8. And I was hoping that we could see this thing approach this 11.33 zone. We still haven't broken 11. So here's what I see. When the economic data comes out about unemployment and jobs and etc., if NIO, okay, if the data is good for the stock market, which means the jobs market is showing weakness, NIO could continue to push and get closer to the 200 moving average on the 1 hour. And I think NIO could see 11.33 or so. If the data is bad and the whole market comes down, I wouldn't be surprised if NIO slowly bleeds and retests the low 10.3 to 10.2 zone right down here. It could go either way. It depends on the data. I, however, believe it's a little bit more likely NIO continues to push up. I like to be optimistic, and this whole setup looks like we had this like accumulation like phase right here, and we're starting to push up, whether you want to use Wyckoff or not. So I'm hoping NIO could get a break above 11. I like to be optimistic. I'm hoping for it, and if that does happen, it'll be very good for the share price. But always remember the bigger move, because I'm just talking about the short term. What is the bigger, much bigger move telling us? And that is the markets are still bearish for the medium term. Even if we get a small pump in the markets, okay, let's just say the whole market pumps, NIO gets back above 11, we see 11.3, 11.5, and etc. I wouldn't turn way too bullish because I know there's going to be a big reversal, right? The stock market is going to crash over the next couple of weeks. Maybe as we approach like mid-January, the crash will start. If that's the case, NIO will eventually come back down. Okay, I have to warn everyone about that. Okay, but for the short term, I'm hoping that we could form maybe like a cup and handle like formation, or NIO just starts pushing up from here. I would love to see it. I'm hoping that that's what ends up happening. You could even argue that we already formed the comp and we're still forming the handle and we're about to get a breakout. I'm hoping for that. We have a gap up here around the higher 11s. we could go for the gap fill if we break above 11 first. So let's just wait and see how it goes. If NIO could do that, that would be a very good sign. But once again, for tomorrow specifically, just tomorrow, it's going to depend on the data. We need some good data for the stock market, okay? We also have some Fed speakers coming out later on during the day. We'll see what they have to say. They're not going to be as impactful as this data, though, so be ready for it. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. Have a great rest of the day. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon, because the long-term future is still incredibly bright, and peace out.